So this is a diary of my journey while learning Django for web development. And I'm going to learn from a book called Django for Beginners, Build Websites with Python and Django First Edition. This is a book by William Vincent. So the first step is to install Python 3 and my machine is Linux Mint, so Python 3 comes installed by default, and the version is Python 3.10.4. So Python is installed. The next step is the virtual environments. Virtual environments basically help to run different projects, which means that if project A uses Django 3.0 and project B uses Django 1.11, it's possible to isolate each one of the projects in a container, which is called a virtual environment, and run each of the projects separately. Because in one virtual environment we can install Django 3.0 and in another one we can install Django 1.11 and the other packages. That's the purpose of virtual environment. So basically it says that I should use a dedicated virtual environment for each new Python project. So each time I create a new Python project, I need to create a new virtual environment which is dedicated to that project. Okay, pipenv is the tool to manage virtual environments. So I'm going to install pipenv. So pip3 install pipenv. The problem is that pip3 as a command is not found, but it can be installed. Okay, sudo apt install python 3 -pip. So pip helps to download Python packages from the official repository. Yes. And after I have installed pipenv, the next step is to install Django or Django, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it Django. It's better, Django. Okay. So I have pip3 now. Yes, pip3 is installed. So pip3 install pipenv. It has some nice colors. Successfully installed. So is pipenv installed? Pipenv sudo apt install pipenv. Warning. Does it have path problems? So pipenv, it's not found. Successfully installed. The script virtual and clone is installed in home yano.localp. So if I do home yano.localp pipenv, yes, okay. So I need to include it in the path. So when I do pip-env, it works. Okay. This is the path where pip-env is located. Okay. Add path to terminal Linux. I need to modify the bash.rc file. Okay. ls home yana root grep bash.rc. It's not there. So where is the bash.rc file? Linux bash.rc file home. So vim home yano bash.rc. But why doesn't it grab it? I don't. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to do ls-a for all. Yeah, now it grabs it. So vim home yano dot bash.rc rc, and I need to add export path and the directory path in here to the last line of file. Okay, so I'm going to the last line. So export path equals to home yano, what was it, local, I guess, dot local bin pip-env. Okay, and then it's the path variable. Okay, so now I'm going to test it, but I think I need to restart the terminal. So pip-env, it still doesn't work. Vim home yano dot bash.rc. So this is the path.local bin pip-env. Save. Maybe I need to do source home yano dot bash.rc pip-env. It still doesn't work. Add export path. Your dear column. Use path instead of is very long to type, so I got to configure it. Okay. Pipen. Okay, Pipen not found. Echo path. So home YAML.local Pipen is inside the environment variable path. So if I copy this, maybe I need to add an alias to it, I don't know. Maybe I can do it like add alias to bashrc. So vim home YAML dot bashrc. So alias pipenv equals to home I'm going to use double quotes home YAML dot local bin pipenv. I'm going to source it now, source home YAML dot bashrc. Okay, pipenv. Now it's better, okay. So it works. So I can do pipenv from the terminal like this. I never worked with pipenv, to be honest. I just used virtual env, but it's recommended on the book, so I'm going with book. Now I'm going to install Django. I have already created a directory called django. So I have a book in here and I have some notes. I'm going to create another directory called test project. cd test project. And in here I'm going to install Django. And the version of Django I'm going to install is not 3.0 as the book recommends, but 3.2, because I did some research and the version of Python I'm using is 3.10.4. so Python 3 versions 3.10.6, and the first version of Django that is going to support this series of Python is 3.2. So I need Django 3.2. So inside this directory I'm going to do pipenv install Django, and these two equal signs are used to specify the version of the package. Okay, this is doing its job. Install Django 3.2. So I'm curious what kind of name the virtual environment has. So to activate the virtual environment for this project, it says I have to run pipenv shell. Okay, pipenv shell. Okay, test project is the name of the virtual environment, is this, and it's activated. Cool. create a project now, but I'm going to take a note here. So create a Django project. I managed to install Django. Now Django, I have to create a project. And the command for creating a project is django-admin start project test project, and a period. So this is going to create a directory called test project with files that are required for the project to be developed. Okay, so many files in here: pip file, pip-file.log, which are the files of pipenv, and this is another directory, manage.py. So this is the initial setup. So now it is trying to explain why you should add a period to the command django administrator. So the period is here, and we can do it without a period, but it's going to create another uh, another tree of the structure for the project. So the tree structure is going to be different. What that means is that the files are going to be organized in a different way. So right now I have manage.py test project, which is a directory. So if I do ls test project, there are some files in here. Okay, if I don't add the period, it is going to create another directory with the name of the project like this, which I created myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as a screenshot, and I'm going to do it without the period. Screenshot, okay. Selection. Take screenshot. I'm saving this on desktop. So now I'm going to, how do I deactivate this? Deactivate, I don't think it's going to work. Oh, it worked. So remove dash rf. Okay, ls cd test project. Remove all inside this. So Django. Oh, I have to activate the virtual environment or ppn from ppn shell. Okay. No action shell for unknown virtual environment. Ppn shell ppn. So how is it possible to create a virtual environment with this ppn brown ppn shell? So maybe I need to install Django again. ppn install Django equals to 3.2. Error. The system is intended to be used for pre-existing pip file installation. So I don't get what this is saying. So test project. Okay. Ppn install Django equals to 3.2. ppn install. The system is intended to be used for pre-existing. But the thing is that I deleted all. Maybe I need some type of purge. There's purge. No such action. ppn dash help. Okay. So I'm going to output some virtual environment information. ppn dash env. So this is the virtual environment which is available. It's under share build-to-env test project, it's called. But the problem is that it's not activating. Remove the virtual env. Okay. Dash rm. Removing virtual env, so basically it removes it. The virtual environment which was on this path. So I'm going to install Django again, I guess. ppn dash help. I'm curious on how can I create a new virtual environment here. But ppn install Django equals to 3.2. Okay. Um, so now I'm going to do it without dot. So django. Okay, I have to activate first pipen shell. It's very confusing, so why doesn't it activate? I don't get pipen dash dash shell. So shell is just to spawn a shell within the virtual environment. How am I supposed to activate the virtual environment in here? I don't get it. Start project, test project, and it asks me to install Python 3 Django because it seems that the virtual environment is not activated. Sync, uninstall, update, graph, clean, check, pipen, start. Pipen activate. There is no such command. Pipen. Okay. Activate virtual environment. Pipen. Yes, this might be possible, but what's the purpose of using pipen then? Because I want to automate activation and deactivation of the virtual environment. Pipen. Pipen shell. Shell for unknown virtual environment already activated. No action taken to. Okay, Django. to enter the virtual env using pip-env shell. So if I do pip-env dash dash env dash dash vn, it gives me information. Okay, so if I do source bin activate, okay, it activates the virtual environment. But I already knew this, but I thought that might be some way to activate this virtual environment through pip-env. So now Django should work. It means start project, test project. Okay, so ls test project. So as you can see, there is another directory in here, which was not in the beginning when we did it with a dot. So deactivate, and going to remove it, pip-env dash rm. Okay, pip-env dash vn. No virtual environment has been created for this project. Okay, so that's why important to run with a dot. So this command can be run without a dot or with this dot. This dot helps to make a more clean, a better structure for the project. That's what the book recommends. Okay, so I'm going to create again. So pip-env dash help check clean graph install local requirements run script shell sync and install update verify dash 3 use python 3 when creating virtual environment. I'm going to do a clear to clear the caches. Okay, help. Create a new project using python 3 specifically. Specify which version of Python virtual env should use. Is it possible like to give a name to the virtual environment, a custom name? Remove the virtual environment. Create a new virtual environment with pip-env. So just this? Yes, okay, I know this, but is it possible like to give a name? Dash 3. Successfully created the virtual environment text project. it would be good to give a custom name, so I'm going to try to give a custom name. Pen dash 3, then I'm going to say test project. No such command. It's not a command, I want to give a name, dummy. What's up, dummy? So I'm going to activate it. Bean activate. No such file or directory. Home, YAML, lower share, virtual Linux test project. vpen -vn. So this is the directory where the virtual environment is supposed to be. Bean activate. Now vpen install django equals to 3.2. Installing django. Okay, it's installed. So for now I have to go to the book. Django admin. So this is the kind of directory which I have created myself. Now Django is going to create the tree structure of the project. Start project, test project is the project name, and with a dot, which I explained earlier. Cool. So ls test project. ls. So this is the project, and it contains another directory. ls test project. I am going to remove it again. Deactivate. Okay, yes, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this project. And I'm going to let Django build the entire tree. So pip end -3. Pip end -vn to find the path of the virtual environment. Source bean activate. Okay, so Django admin start project learn Django. Okay, test project. Pip and install. It's a bit confusing, to be honest. This install Django equals to 3.2. Okay. Okay. installed, and it created the dependencies on pyfile.log django admin start project test project, and with a dot cd test project. So now it's another tree. So learn Django is the root, it has manage.py, it has files for dependencies, and it has a directory called test project, which is the name of the project. So I'm going to stick to this for now, but I have to remove the book and notes.txt from this root directory. Okay, move everything PDF to desktop. Cd and cannot move. Okay, move notes.txt to home piano desktop. Now it's a bit cleaner. Okay. Command line. Now let's confirm everything is working by running Django's local web server. So Django comes with a local web server. If I type in here Python, it directly links to 3.10.6. This is the one that is installed on the system, the wide installation. Okay, I can use the manage.py script to run the server. Okay, Python manage.py run server. Whoa, I have 18 unapplied migrations. Okay, starting the development server at this address. I can copy the link. So yes, the install worked successfully. Congratulations. Thank you. You are seeing this page because debug equals to true is in your settings file. Okay. And you have not configured any URLs. So if I set debug to false, maybe I'm not going to see this page. This is a cool page. Okay. So what's next? Don't worry about 17 unapplied migrations. No, I didn't. To stop the local server, type Ctrl C so I can stop it, and it stopped. I can exit. So I can exit the virtual environment using exit. Yes. No need to use deactivate. Just exit. We can always reactivate the virtual environment again using pip and shell, but this didn't work for me, so pip and shell. The folder you are executing pip from can no longer be found. Oh, depend dash dash vn. It's really weird. Ppen dash dash vn. The folder you are executing pip from can no longer be found. So did I exit like remove the entire thing? What's up with this? Because I wanted to exit, not to remove it. What happened here? cd. Okay, a new file here. This is a built-in database. Okay, I can use it from here, I guess. Okay, pip and shell. Yes, it activates it from here, yes. So I have to be in the root directory where these two files are, I guess. Not sure, but so okay, I have to install Git. I'm going to skip it. Text editors, chapter 2. So chapter 2 has to do with Hello World application. Also, this is a very beginner application. I'm going to do it because I need to develop some discipline, and I'm going to do the initial setup now. So he recommends to navigate to a new directory. We can, for example, we can create a hello world directory on the desktop. Yes, we can create it, but why on the desktop? Isn't it better to do it somewhere secret, like in the home directory? ls, so I'm going to say make directory hello world and cd hello world. Okay, make sure you are not already in an existing virtual environment at this point. No, I'm not. There's shell, no such option. So it created hello world automatically. Pip dash dash rm for removing. Exit. Okay. Pip file. Maybe pip dash dash clear. Still pip file in here. But pip dash dash rm removes the entire virtual environments, even the one for the project called test project. It's fucking weird. Really weird. Maybe I'm not used to it, but this seems really weird to me. It's really complicated. When I used to use just virtual env, it was easier. Remove the virtual environment. The one in the current directory or the old virtual environments? So that's not explained. No virtual environment has been created for this project yet, which means that this tries to remove the virtual environment in the current project, so aborted, or in the current directory, whatever. So I have no virtual environment. Okay, pip-env to create a new virtual environment, install Django, and then activate it. Okay. So I can do pip-env install Django equals to 3.2, and this is going to automatically create the virtual environment and install Django then. Okay. And I can activate then pip-env shell. So the name of the project is Hello World Project. Django admin start project Hello World project and the dot. So this is the project, ls Hello World project. So it doesn't have a directory called Hello World project inside this directory, so it doesn't complicate stuff. And then if you use the tree command, you can see the structure of the project. Yes, I would like to see it as a tree because I feel really dumb now to start fantasizing how it looks. Okay, sudo apt install tree. This is good about Linux, that every package that you want, you can install it with a package manager, which I never seen that on Windows. This is really beautiful. So Hello World project has these top level files, and then the directory called Hello World has this directory or subdirectory, these top level files, and inside this subdirectory are some other Python modules, since any file that ends in .py in Python is called a module. So one directory 7 files, one directory 8 files from the settings.py file controls the settings of the project. Okay, and it tells Django which pages to build in response to a browser or URL request. So when I make a request with my browser, I basically hit the settings.py file. Is that what it means? I don't know. But this file seems responsible for routing the requests. Okay. Whiskey is another file, whiskey.py. Okay, it stands for Web Server Gateway Interface. It helps Django to serve the web pages. The last file is manage.py. It is used to execute Django commands, such as running the local web server or creating a new application. So I can use Python manage.py to run the server with a local web server to see how the development is progressing, to test my applications, my project. Okay. However, since warnings are still annoying to see, yes, these are the warnings, we can remove it by first stopping the local server with Ctrl C. Okay. And I have to run Python manage.py migrate. So this is another command, and this is the module that helps to run the commands. Okay, everything seems okay. Okay, so many okays. What Django has done here is migrate the built-in apps provided for us, which we will cover probably later in the book. But now, if you execute python manage.py run server, I'm not going to see any warning, I know that. Okay. So python manage.py run server, copy. Now in here there are no warnings. Uh, there is no red letters. Hello world, publish the settings, and there is a get request. This is HTTP. Okay. Create an application. So the start app command followed by the name of the app can be used to create an application. So python manage.py start app pages. So if I do ls, I have another directory, and it's called pages. This is the name of the application. So if I do 3, pages has other files inside it. This is really cool. Let's review what each new uh, file inside the pages does. Okay, pages is this directory. So admin.py, it says that it's a configuration file for the built-in Django admin app. Okay, I'm not going to spend my brain on that. apps.py is a configuration file for the app itself. Okay, so apps.py holds configuration for the current application for the app itself. This seems interesting. Migrations keeps track of any changes to models.py, but first I have to understand what models.py is. So models.py is where we define our database models, which Django automatically translates into database tables. This is a very important file, it seems, because in here we use Python to express how the database is going to be structured by through a high level way through Python, and then Django automatically creates the tables inside the backend database. So I'm going to do a pause. So test.py, app specific test, views.py, where we handle the request response logic. So we do a request because we want the response. That's why we do a request. And here where in views.py is where the logic of this flow request response is handled. Even so, our new app exists within the Django project. So this is our new app. Django isn't aware where uh, Django isn't aware of our app, it says, until we add it explicitly in settings.py under installed apps. Okay, so you can do vim hello world project settings.py, and here are the settings for the project. Inside installed apps is a list, so I can specify it here. So why pages.apps.pagesconfig, I don't know. I never seen this. The reason is that Django creates an apps.py file with each new app and it's possible to add additional information there. Don't worry if you are confused at this point. No, it's not that I'm confused, I just like simple stuff, but anyway, I have to include it. So pages.apps.pagesconfig. So maybe this is some kind of script, and then pagesconfig is some type of class inside apps.py. Okay, save it. URLs, views, models, templates. In Django, at least 3 separate files are required to power one single page. Within an app, these are the urls.py file, the views.py file, and the models.py file. So for one single page to function, let's say this page, for it to function, 3 separate files are required: urls.py, views.py, and models.py, and these are inside the app. So the name of the app is pages, and in here is models.py, views.py, and urls.py is inside the project where the settings is located. And of course we need some HTML language, in this case an HTML template to render the page. It's called index.html in this book. This interaction is fundamental to Django, yet very confusing to newcomers. I don't believe this interaction is confusing, because if you explain that views.py helps to handle how the request response logic is going to work, and models is for the database, and URLs is to handle the requests and hit the right views, I don't understand why it would be confusing for a beginner. So map of a given HTTP request response cycle. So this helps to handle the HTTP request response cycle, in other words, because everything is HTTP on the web. That's the workhorse of the web. When you type in a URL such as https django4beginners.com, okay, the first thing that happens within our Django project is a URL pattern is found that matches the homepage. So inside urls.py, a pattern is getting triggered, and this pattern then triggers the view responsible for the URL pattern. Yeah, exactly. The URL pattern specifies a view which then determines the content for the page. Django request response cycle. URL, view, model, template. So basically, when I type the URL, it's saying that the URL hits a specific view, and the specific view does processing with models, with a database, and then the view returns a response, and the template renders it for human readable. Remember how I said it can take 3 or 4 files for a given page? 1, 2, 3. That's because the model is not always needed, in which case 3 files are enough. But generally speaking, 4 will be used, as we will see later in this book. So the models is not always needed because not every time we need to process the database. But generally speaking, 4 will be used. Okay. The main takeaway here is that in Django, views determine what content is displayed on a given page, while URL comps determine where that content is going. So the view deals with the logic what is going to display, and URL comps deals where the content is going to be displayed at what location in the URL. So the model contains the content from the database, and the template provides styling, yes, rendering, okay. When a user requests a specific page, like the home page, the urls.py file uses a regular expression to map that request. Yes. So basically what this is saying is that when we do an HTTP request through the browser, there is a file called urls.py that has certain patterns, and if our URL manages to trigger one of these patterns, then the pattern maps the request to the appropriate view, the view which is meant or which is written by the developer for handling the request. Let's say I want to visit, for example, library, then add book. I want to add a book to the library. This is a pattern which is probably has a pattern inside urls.py. So whenever this is typed, this triggers the pattern inside urls.py, and the pattern inside urls.py triggers the function or a class inside the file views.py, which is responsible for this type of activity, for example for adding books. Okay. To see this in action, let's start by updating the views.py file in our pages app. So for now I'm going to use Vim, but for real development it's good to have PyCharm. I prefer Vim. So Vim pages, then views.py. Okay, create your views here. That's a comment. So views are basically functions that handle a request and give a response back. So on page view, I never seen this kind of the way that he writes the function, the name of the function with his uppercase letters. This is really new to me. Okay, request. But I understand why he does that, because it makes the name way more readable. So I need to import HTTP response from Django. 1, 2, 3, 4 pass here. Okay. From Django.http import HTTP response. And then in here return. So the function is supposed to return something, and it returns this object HTTP response, and inside hello world. Okay, so the view is created. Now I guess there is the requirement of mapping this view to URL, because if I go now to, okay, I'm going to run the server. So new tab. Okay, pip and shell python manage.py run server. So if I visit this link, I have only this page. The thing is that I have written a view and I want to trigger it, so I want to see this message displayed on the template, but I guess I need to type some URL first, so hello world, and for this I have to create a pattern inside the urls.py file. So let's see what the book says. Basically we are saying whenever the view function homepage is called, so whenever this function is called, this text is going to be displayed. Very logical. More specifically, we have imported the built-in HTTP response. Okay, now we need to configure our URLs. Okay, let's configure the URLs pages urls.py. There is no such file inside the pages. So pages views.py, where is urls.py? I guess I have to create it myself. Vim pages urls.py. Okay, from django.urls import path, from views import home page view. So this is for the current directory, I guess, and since urls.py is inside the current directory, this makes sense, because even views is in the current directory. And create a pattern, a list called URL patterns, and the pattern is path empty and the name of the function which I imported, not big. Okay, home is the name. I guess we can type anything in here. It's just how we called. Okay. Now we have to do an update inside the main URLs, which is inside this project. So if I do ls, hello world project is where the URLs are stored, so urls.py, and I'm going to say path include the name of the application, which is pages, and what I'm going to include, the module URLs. Okay. So basically I configured the URLs of the application inside the project. So name include is not defined. Okay, I need to import it. Name pages is not defined. Because this needs to be a string. In here I watch if there are any errors. Okay, syntax error. It's inside the view now. Okay, theme pages views.py. That's not how a function is supposed to be written. Okay, no error now. So yes, hello world. So basically I customized the home page. That's what I did. And I can type anything in here. Time for me to go out. And maybe I can render some HTML, I don't know. H1. Yes, it got rendered. So it renders HTML. So H2. Okay, so I'm going out now. I think is enough for today. So I'm going to upload this on YouTube, and anyone who is interested in writing can contact me. I will be glad to discuss about Django or about computer related stuff, but right now I'm focused a bit on Django. So if any beginner wants to discuss, like, I don't know, any kind of topic, they are welcome. So thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe to my channel.